Yeah.
पेज नंबर 15, पेज नंबर 15। हम संज्ञाकालीन वंदना सिर्फ पाली में करेंगे और उसके बाद हम कुछ भगवान बुद्ध की जन्म, बोधि लाभ और निर्वाण के कुछ हम सूत्र से लिया गया वो रीडिंग्स करेंगे। योऽसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो स्वागातो येन भगवता धम्मो सुपतिपन्नो यस्य भगवतो सावकसङ्घो Tamayam Bhagavantang Sadhammang Sasangam Ime Sakare Hiyatharaha Arobite Hiyabhipujayama Sadhuno Bante Bhagava Suchira Pariniputopi Chima Janata Nukamba Manasa Ime Sakare Dugata Bhanakara Bhute Padeganhado Amagandi Garatang Hidaya Sukhaya Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namayang Buddhassa Bhagavato Buddhamaganamakaraṁ Karomase Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Annamayam Buddhanusatinayam Karomase Tangho Banam Bhagavantang Eva No Kiti Sado Abugato Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijja charana sambano sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sathadeva manusana Buddho Bhagavate Andamayam Buddham Vigiting Karomase Buddha Varahanda Varada Diguna Biyuto Suna Vinyana Karuna Hisamagatato Bore siyo sujanatang gamara vasuro Vanda mahang damaranang sirasa jinendam Buddhoyo sabbapaninang saranang khemamutama Pathamanusate thanam vandamitam sirenaham Buddha sahasamida sova Buddho me samikisaro Buddho duga saghada chavidada chahitasame Buddha sahang niyademi sarirang chivitang chidang Tohang charisami Buddha seva subodhita Nadi me saranang anyam Buddho me saranang vara Etena sachavachena vadayang sadhu sasane Buddha me vandamanena yam punyam pasutang ida Sabe piyantaraya me mae sukta sadejasa Kaina vacaya vacetasa va Buddhe kukamam bhagatam mayaya Buddho patiganha tuacayantang Kalandare samvaritu va buddhe Andamayang dhammanusatinayang karomase Swakhato bhagavata dhammo Sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko Opanaiko pacatam veditamo vinyuhite Andamayang dhamma bigiting karomase Savakhadada digunayo gavase nasayo Yo magapaka pariyati vimokha vedo Dhammo kulo kapatana tathadhari dhari Vanda mahang tamaharam varadhamma meta Dhammo yo sabbapaninang saranang khemamutama Dutiyanusate thanam vandamitam sirenaham Dhamma sahasamida sova Dhammo me samikisaro Dukkha sagada chavidata chahitasame Dhamma sahang niyademi sarirang jividang chidang Vandandohang charisami Dhamma seva sudhammata Nati me saranang anyang Namo me saranang varang Etena sacha vajena vadayang sadhu sasane Dhamma me vandamane na yam bunyam pasutang ila Sabe piyantaraya me maesum dasa Kaina vachaya vachedasa va Dhamme gugamam bhagatam mayaya Dhammo padiganhatu achyantang Kalantare samvaritu vadhamme Hannamayang sanghanusatena karoma se Supatipanno bhagavato asavaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato asavaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato asavaka sangho Sami Jipatipanno Bhagavato Asavaka Sangho Yadidang Jatari Purisa Yugani Ata Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Asavaka Sangho Ahunayo Pahunayo Dakinayo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttaram Punya Ketang Lokasa Tamahang Sa Okay. Andamayang Sangha Bigiting Karoma Se Sadhamajo Supati Pati Guna Viyuto Yoda Vido Ariya Pugala Sangha Seto Sila Dhamma Pavara Sayakaya Chito Vandamahang Damariya Naganang Susudang Sanghoyo Sabbapaninang Saranang Gemamutamang Tatiyanu Thanam Vandamitang Sirenahang Sangha sahasamida sowa sangho me samikisaro du Savidata Chaita Same Sangha Sahaniya Demi Sariran Jivitang Chidang Vandanto Hang Charisami Patipanata Nati me saranang anyang Sangho me saranang varang Etena sacha vajena vadayang sadhu sasane Sangha me vandamane na yam punyam pasutang ida Sabe piyantaraya me maesu dasate jasa Kaena vachaya vachedasa va Sanghe gukamam bhagatam mayaya Sangho padiganhatu vachayantang Kalandare samvaritum vasanghe Sukra about 3 times. So normally we used to read the story of the Buddha on the first Buddha Purnima, but this time we will do today. So, so we have three different from the birth, awakening, and then parinibbana, and this is from the suttas. So we will have it read in English. Oh, we don't have translation. So in English, it's okay. This is from the birth, and this was told by the Ananda. Thus have I heard. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha, mindful and aware. The being intent on awakening passed away from the host of joyful gods and was conceived in his mother's womb. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening passes away from the host of joyful gods, he is conceived in his mother's womb, and then in this world with its gods, maras, and divinities, the population with its ascetics and Brahmins, gods and humans, an immeasurable magnificent light appears, surpassing the glory of the gods. Even in the boundless gloom of interstellar space, so utterly dark that even the luminosity of the moon and the sun, so mighty and powerful, makes no impression, an immeasurable, magnificent light appears, surpassing the glory of the gods. And even the sentient beings reborn, they recognize each other by that light. So it seems the other sentient beings have been reborn here, and this 10,000-fold galaxy shakes and rocks and trembles, and an immeasurable magnificent light appears in the world, surpassing the glory of the gods. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening is conceived in his mother's belly, four godlings approach to guard the four quarters so that no human or non human or any at all shall harm. The being intent on awakening or his mother. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening is conceived in his mother's belly, she becomes naturally ethical. She refrains from killing living creatures, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and beer, wine, and liquor, intoxicants. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening is conceived in his mother's belly, she no longer thinks of men in a sexual way, and she cannot be violated by a man of lustful intent. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening is conceived in his mother's belly, she obtains the five kinds of sensual stimulation and amuses herself, supplied and provided with them. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening is conceived in his mother's belly, no afflictions besets her. She is happy and free of bodily fatigue, and she sees the being intent on awakening in her womb, whole in his major and minor limbs, not deficient in any faculty. Suppose there was a belly gem that was naturally lustrous, eight faceted, well worked, and it was strung with a thread of blue, yellow, red, white, or golden brown, and a person with clear eyes were to take it in their hand and examine it. The belly gem is naturally lustrous, eight faceted, well worked, and it's strung with a thread of blue, yellow, red, white, or golden brown. In the same way, when the being intent on awakening is conceived in his mother's belly, no afflictions beset her. She is happy and free of bodily fatigue, and she sees the being intent on awakening in her womb, whole in his major and minor limbs, not deficient in any faculty. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. 7 days after the being intent on awakening is born, his mother passes away and is reborn in the host of joyful gods. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. Other women carry the infant in the womb of for 9 or 10 months before giving birth. Not so the mother of being intent on awakening. She gives birth after exactly 10 months. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. Other women give birth while sitting or lying down. Not so the mother of being intent on awakening. She only gives birth standing up. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening emerges from his mother's womb, gods received him first, then humans. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening emerges from his mother's womb, before he reaches the ground, four godlings receive him and place him before his mother, saying, Rejoice, O Queen, an illustrious son is born to you. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening emerges from his mother's womb, he emerges already clean, unsoiled by waters, mucus, blood, or any kind of impurity, pure and clean. Suppose a jewel treasure was placed on a cloth from Kasi. The jewel would not soil the cloth, nor would the cloth soil the jewel. Why is that? Because of the cleanliness of them both. In the same way, when the being intent on awakening emerges from his mother's womb, he emerges already clean, unsoiled by water, mucus, blood, or any kind of impurity, pure and clean. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening emerges from his mother's womb, two showers of water appears from the sky, one cool, one warm, forbidding the being intent on awakening and his mother. This too I remember as an incredible quality of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. As soon as he is born, the being intent on awakening stands firm with his own feet on the ground. Facing north, he takes 7 strides with a white parasol held above him, surveys all quarters, and makes this dramatic proclamation: I am the foremost in the world. I am the eldest in the world. I am the first in the world. This is my last rebirth. Now there will be no more future lives. This too I remember as an incredible qualities of the Buddha. I have learned this in the presence of the Buddha. When the being intent on awakening emerges from his mother's womb, then in this world with its gods, maras, and divinities, this population with its ascetics and Brahmins, gods and humans, an immeasurable magnificent light appears, surpassing the glory of the gods, even in the boundless gloom of interstellar space, so utterly dark that even the luminosity of the moon and the sun, so mighty and powerful, makes no impression. An immeasurable, magnificent light appears, surpassing the glory of the gods, and the sentient beings reborn. They recognize each other by that light. So it seems others sentient beings have been reborn here. And this 10,000-fold galaxy shakes and rocks and trembles, and an immeasurable, magnificent light appears in the world, surpassing the glory of the gods. This too I remember as an incredible and amazing quality of the Buddha. Sadhu. So this was told by Ananda. So quickly we go farther in the story from the marvelous birth. We now immediately continuing with the awakening scene. So as most of us probably know, after his birth and childhood in the palace, the Bodhisattva abandoned the palace, studied, practiced under great teachers, and for a long time practiced severe austerities. So the part I will read now is from the end of his austerities practice and up to awakening. Then it occurred to me, whatever ascetics and Brahmins have experienced painful, sharp, severe, acute feelings due to overexertion, whether in the past, future, or present, this is as far as it goes. No one has done more than this. But I have not achieved any superhuman distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the noble ones by this severe, grueling work. Could there be another path to awakening? Then it occurred to me, I recall sitting in the cool shade of a black plum tree while my father the second was off working, quite secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unskillful qualities. I entered and remained in the first absorption, which has a rapture and bliss born of seclusion, while placing the mind and keeping it connected. Could that be the path to awakening? Stemming from that memory came the understanding that is the path to awakening.
Then it occurred to me, why am I afraid of that pleasure? For it has nothing to do with sensual pleasures or unskillful qualities. Then it occurred to me, I am not afraid of that pleasure, for it has nothing to do with sensual pleasures or unskillful qualities. Then it occurred to me, I cannot achieve that pleasure with a body so severely emaciated. Why wouldn't I eat some solid food, some rice and porridge? So I ate some solid food. Now, at that time, the group of 5 mendicants were attending on me, thinking, the ascetic Gautama will tell us of any truth that he realizes. But when I ate some solid food, they left disappointed in me, saying, the ascetic Gautama has become indulgent. He has strayed from the struggle and returned to indulgence. After eating solid food and gathering my strength, quite secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unskillful qualities, I entered and remained in the first absorption, second absorption, third absorption, fourth absorption. When my mind had immersed in samadhi like this, purified, bright, flawless, rid of corruptions, pliable, workable, steady, and imperturbable, I extended it towards recollection of past lives. I recollected many past lives, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 1,000, 100,000 rebirths, many aeons of the world contracting, many aeons of the world expanding, many aeons of the world contracting and expanding. And so I recollected my many kinds of past lives with features and details. This was the first knowledge which I achieved in the first watch of the night. Ignorance was banished and knowledge arose. Darkness was banished and light arose, as happens for a meditator who is diligent, keen, and resolute. When my mind had immersed in samadhi like this, purified, bright, flawless, rid of corruptions, pliable, workable, steady, and imperturbable, I extended it toward knowledge of the death and rebirth of sentient beings. With clairvoyance that is purified and superhuman, I saw sentient beings passing away and being reborn, inferior and superior, beautiful and ugly, in a good place or a bad place. I understood how sentient beings pass on according to their deeds. This was the second knowledge, which I achieved in the middle watch of the night. Ignorance was banished and knowledge arose. Darkness was banished and light arose, as happens for a meditator who is diligent, keen, and resolute. When my mind had immersed in samadhi like this, purified, bright, flawless, rid of corruptions, pliable, workable, steady, and imperturbable, I extended it toward knowledge of the ending of defilements. I truly understood. This is suffering. This is the origin of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is a practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. I truly understood. These are the defilements. This is the origin of defilements. This is the cessation of defilements. This is a practice that leads to the cessation of defilements. Knowing and seeing like this, my mind was freed from the defilements of sensuality, desire to be reborn, and ignorance. When it was freed, I knew it was freed. I understood. Rebirth is ended. The spiritual journey has been completed. What had to be done has been done. There is nothing further for this place. This was the third knowledge, which I achieved in the last watch of the night. Ignorance was banished, and knowledge arose. Darkness was banished, and light arose, as happens for a meditator who is diligent, keen, and resolute.
Okay, so the last sequel is, of course, the Parinibbana, which is just only a short selection from the sutta, because obviously it's one of the longest sutta. Parinibbana is one of the longest stories in the suttas, so it's only a short bit. So I'll just read out what we have here. Then the Buddha addressed a Venerable Ananda. Now, Ananda, some of you might think the teacher's dispensation has passed. We have no teacher, but you should not see it like this. The teacher and training that I have taught and pointed out for you should be your teacher after my passing. Then the Buddha said to the mendicants, perhaps even a single mendicant has doubt or uncertainty regarding the Buddha, the teaching, the Sangha, the path, or the practice. So ask mendicants, don't regret it later, thinking, we were in the teacher's presence and we weren't able to ask the Buddha a question. When this was said, the mendicants kept silent. For a second time, and a third time, the Buddha addressed the mendicants. Perhaps even a single mendicant has doubt or uncertainty regarding the Buddha, the teaching, the Sangha, the path, or the practice. So ask mendicants. Don't regret it later, thinking we were in the teacher's presence and we weren't able to ask the Buddha a question. For a third time, the mendicants kept silent. Then the Buddha said to the mendicants, mendicants, perhaps you don't ask out of respect for the teacher, so let a friend tell a friend. When this was said, the mendicants kept silent. The realized one knows that there is not even a single mendicant in this Sangha who has doubt or uncertainty regarding the Buddha, the teaching, the Sangha, the path, or the practice. Even the last of these 500 mendicants is a stream enterer, not liable to be reborn in the underworld, assured, destined for awakening. Then the Buddha said to the mendicants, come now, mendicants, I say to you all, conditions fall apart, persist with diligence. These were the Tathagata's final words. Then the Blessed One, the first absorption, entered the first absorption. Emerging from that, he successively entered into and emerged from the second absorption and the third absorption. Then he entered the fourth absorption. Emerging from that, the Buddha immediately became fully extinguished. When the Buddha was fully quenched, along with the full extinguishment, there was a great earthquake, awe-inspiring and hair-raising, and thunder cracked the sky. When the Buddha was fully quenched, the divinity Sahampati spoke this verse, all creatures in this world must lay down this bag of bones, for even a teacher such as this, unrivaled in the world, the realized one, attained to power, the Buddha was fully quenched. When the Buddha was fully quenched, Saka, Lord of the gods, spoke this verse, all conditions are impermanent. Their nature is to rise and fall. Having arisen, they cease. Their settling is blissful. When the Buddha was fully quenched, some of the mendicants there who were not free of desire, with arms raised, falling down like their feet were chopped off, rolling back and forth, lamenting. Too soon the Buddha, the Blessed One, has become fully quenched. Too soon the Holy One has become fully quenched. Too soon The eye of the world has vanished. Then Anuruddha addressed the mendicants. Enough, reverends. Do not grieve or lament. Did the Buddha not prepare us for this when he explained that we must be parted and separated from all we hold dear and beloved? How could it be possible? How could it be possible? How could it be any other way? So that what was born, created, conditioned, and liable to wear out should not wear out.
So we will have a silent meditation until 8 o'clock. And then we will have opportunity for question and answers until 8:30 or until 9, see what arises. Can be about the Buddha's life or anything else. Ajahn. Okay. Ajahn can ring the bell. We have a way to get questions from Zoom as well. We have the phone here. We have a phone here. Does it help? So we connect the speaker in order to start the question and answers part of the evening. We try to connect the speaker so anyone can ask question, whether one is present here or also people through the Zoom can ask questions.
Hello. Can someone from online speak to test if our speaker is working?
Yes, Bhante. Can you hear?
Anyone?
Hello. Can you hear, Bhante? Namaste. Ajahn, can you hear?
उधर ऑनलाइन से कोई माइक में बोल दीजिएगा, हम यहाँ स्पीकर टेस्ट कर रहे हैं.
अजान, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
Hello.
Ajahn, I'm speaking. Can you hear me? No.
Oh, okay. We are not hearing you.
Bluetooth disconnected. Bluetooth mode. Bluetooth connected.
Okay. Can you try?
Ajahn, Namaste, Ajahn. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can
Yeah.
hear you. Okay. So,
Thank you.
अगर क्वेश्चन हो तो
Yes, Manish.
Yes. Guruji, I have heard like there were 28 Buddha and Gautama was 28th Buddha. And everybody has a common path. Everybody, all Buddhas got married. They had one kid. So I have one question, like if someone, so what message all Buddha is giving that you should get married and live a life like I just reflecting.
Yes. all the Buddhas got married and had a child. So does it mean that everyone should get married?
All Buddha got enlightened under a tree. Might be the tree was different, but they had the same pattern. All Buddha got married. They had one kid. So they are giving the message that you should live a married life.
I mean, if you look at the Buddhist teaching, if you look at the Buddhist teachings, then it doesn't really say anything about, you should get married or whatnot. But of course, if you're already sort of tied up and entangled, then it's a different matter. But if you're free, then of course, and if you want to choose this path, then the Buddha's not forcing either way to go either way. So, okay. So I was just saying, sorry, can you hear me now? Is it clear?
Okay.
Clear? Okay. So I was just saying, if you look at the Buddhist teachings, it really it doesn't tell you to you should be married or either way, basically. But if you're married, then of course you're entangled, and it's just up to you, basically. If you see when the mind sort of leads into this way, but it's not that you just abandon your children and just sort of drop. It's not really the teachings. It's when one's inclined and one's already free, then of course it's more easier to make this go to this path. But it really depends. Okay, never mind.
बंदे जी मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हाउ टू रिफ्लेक्ट इफ यू आर गोइंग थ्रू एनी सिचुएशन और आपको उसका आंसर नहीं मिल रहा है तो उसको मेडिटेशन में रिफ्लेक्ट कैसे करें. तो पर्टिकुलरली मेरे साथ प्रॉब्लम ये होता है, इंडिविजुअल क्वेश्चन है तो, कि वो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट को लेकर मैं ध्यान में जाता हूँ और उसको रिफ्लेक्ट करने की कोशिश करता हूँ, लेकिन बार बार ऐसा लगता है कि मैं उसमें इन्वॉल्व हो जाता हूँ, मतलब उस विचार में ही इन्वॉल्व हो जाता हूँ. तो रिफ्लेक्ट करने का फ्रेमवर्क क्या होना चाहिए, कैसे रिफ्लेक्ट करना चाहिए?
किसके लिए?
जैसे कोई भी चीज आपको परेशान कर रही है, कोई डिसीजन है या कोई सिचुएशंस है, उसको रिफ्लेक्ट करना है कि क्या है, मैं क्यों परेशान कर रहा हूँ मैं.
हाँ, वही क्या है को रिफ्लेक्ट करो. क्यों है, क्यों जानना है. वही डिजायर, ये तो कॉज है कि हमारा मन भटक रहा है. So you come and back and see what is the desire to know. And it's just simple. You just see. हमें क्या होता है कि हमारा कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया तभी आंसर चाहिए होता है. There's no patience. So when you see that what is the cause is always the desire to know or desire to know why is happening to me. So you come back and see if there's any desire that, so that can also maybe reduce.
लेकिन जब ध्यान में जब आप मतलब ये होता है कि आप एक प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट को लेके गए लेकिन ध्यान कहीं और चले गया.
हाँ, ध्यान और चले गए. Why it's going, you just know it. Your mind has been distracted. Just that, you just know, okay, mind is distracted. You just come back to your meditation object.
So for in this case, meditation object will be at that problem.
So you can see it the way like you just ignore it and you come back. What's your main meditation object? You just come back and you just stay with your meditation object. So if you give the value to that object, then you go again and again with that same, है ना, उसमें ही डूबते चले जाओगे. So when there's a distraction, and that's when the sati applies, ना. Sati, मुझे तो यहाँ रहना था, अभी ये distract हो रहा है. So when you know that immediately, There's sampajanya already. Okay, I'm distracted. So now you bring back to your meditation object, to your meditate anything like breath or Buddha or anything. So that you have to do constantly again and again until the mind realizes the pattern that always you're going distracted by same thought. Then there will be occurrence of फिर जाने वाला है तो वो पहले पता लगने लगता है when your mindfulness is strong है ना वो पता लगने लगा मेरा mind फिर से उधर ही जाने लगा then you know okay my mind is going to distract I have to be more aware on that part so that's how you kind of learn
हाँ मतलब मैं इसको एग्जांपल से पूछना चाहूंगा कि योनिसो मनसिकार जो है कि ऑब्जेक्ट ब्रेथ या कोई और मेडिटेशन ऑब्जेक्ट वो प्रश्न नहीं था मेरा प्रश्न ये था कि जैसे कुछ किसी इंसान के प्रति मेरा कुछ परसेप्शन है और वो क्या है मतलब मुझे उसमें डेप्थ में जाना है कि वो क्यों मतलब वो परसेप्शन क्रिएट हुआ उसका कारण क्या है तो वो उसको लेके अगर आऊं मैं कि यार क्यों ये इंसान मुझे बार बार परेशान करता कोई भी इंसान हो जैसे एग्जाम्पल ये इंसान से मुझे क्या प्रॉब्लम है मतलब क्यों उसको मुझे इन्वेस्टिगेट करना है
खुद अपने आप को देख लो ना क्यों ये वो हो रहा है बाहर का मत देखो खुद अपने अंदर का देखो ना
हाँ हाँ
हाँ बाहर इज नॉट द प्रॉब्लम इज विद इन अस
उसका जड़ कैसे खोजे वो
वही तो जड़ तो तन्हाई है ना वहाँ डिजायर आ रहा है क्यों देयर इज लाइक डिसलाइक
हाँ
यू हैव टू सी दैट okay
To follow up to this question, like he's looking for answer, but when we see in Dhamma, like we should not be uneasy for the answers. Let the answers come after some times. So he might be anxious about the answer.
yeah wait there's always I want to know why this happened there's this identity of being something yourself I want to know his question was क्या था question that someone is bothering you and he has this feeling of wanting to know why this person is doing to me like this and why always me kind of
my question is that whenever I do meditate so something is bothering me that can be situation that can be anything that can be any decision or anything so that Dhar sir told in this type of situation you do one thing just sit under that question है ना so and investigate why it is bothering me why it is bothering me again and again and go deep and you find wow that is the problem that is the craving or that is something so how to investigate so my problem is that whenever I try to do I just keep quiet my mind with with breath and just recreate that situation this is the situation and I'm bothering again and again so how to go depth in this investigate
Can you please give one specific example of a problem that bothered you and you try to sit on it and what happens?
From last like I do vipassana meditation So last few courses, I feel like I have latent tendencies, my fear. I have fear, some kind of fear. And I don't know why it is again and again, again and again. So I try to find why it is like, why I have fear. And so I found out that due to my conditioning in childhood, I have born in background where lots of violence between police and extremists. So that is causing me why it is fear again and again, again and again.
So since you mentioned the Vipassana technique, I just want to mention that two advices that are given in that course. I did only one course, so I'm not, it was many years ago, but one thing that I remember was taught is, you know, we are not coming here to play intellectual games. So we are not here to make some psychoanalytical self-exploration until we understand everything about how our subconscious mind is affected by some past trauma. It's okay if you know it, it's good. It's not necessarily solving the problem. Usually the advice is actually to look at what arises in the present moment and observe it. Look deeply, like we discussed today. We discussed feeling is like a bubble. If you really look at it, it's just like a bubble coming in. If you have a fear is both feeling, it's a negative feeling, and it's also maybe a choice, some kind of what we call sankhara, some kind of a mental creation, thought. You see this thought, and you can liberate yourself. You don't have to necessarily analyze it, not necessarily. If you can just see its hollowness, it's like an onion. You can peel it off, and then you see, it's just a thought. It's a thought that my mind creates. It's a thought that is in my mind. Now there is peace. It may come back again, yes? It's not that one time you solve it. It may come back again. But if you have this perception that you created, actually a thought is just a thought. A fear is just a fear. It arises in the present moment, but really there is no danger now, okay? If fear arises, you ask yourself, is there a danger now? Do I need this fear? Does it protect me? And you see, actually there is no danger. Why do I need this fear? Then you just observe this emotion and it will fade away after some time if you keep mindfulness, if you keep equanimous. Yeah, some other times you may have a certain thing that you have to explore, but oftentimes it's better first to see looking at the present moment. Do I need to be stuck in it or not? And knowing that it will come back again and again because it has its own momentum. You got used to have fear? Okay. You understand that it will come back again and again. The way to overcome it is to find one way that you bottle it and overcome it one time, then you know it will work again. Let's say you have fear, you contemplate that actually there is no danger right now. You are safe. It will help you. Then you just observe it until it goes away. It would have been different if you were really in danger, yeah? Then maybe you need some fear to keep you alert. Maybe other problem will be different. Suppose you have some anger at somebody. Maybe then it's be good to think, why do I need to be angry at him? Does it make me feel I'm right, that I'm great, that he's the bad and I'm the good? Then you kind of see how your mind finds some pleasure in anger. It made me feel powerful. It made me feel like I'm gonna screw him. Then I blast him. That feels good. So when you see it, you actually realize, but actually I'm thinking this thought again and again, and it's unpleasant. I just cause myself suffering. This is just an example. So go to each one of these things separately and see. Generally, no need to do a full psychoanalysis to your problem. If you understand the framework of seeing emotion, seeing whether you actually need this emotion, is it really reflecting the reality or is it just a proliferation of the mind? And observe it is permanent or impermanent, then it goes away.
So today's afternoon we discussed about feelings in detail. We gave a significant amount of time to discuss about the feelings. I have a question. Sometimes we also talk about emotions, different types of emotions. Like now, when you were answering to him, so you shared a lot of emotions, so emotional words, anger, fear, and all that. So, what is the basic difference between feeling and emotion? And how emotion play a role when we talk about the second thing you're feeling in group, these five aggregate. So, is there any role of emotion in? So, yeah, first
So yeah.
difference, and
So
then
it's good to know that there is a general concept in English language in our general society, our culture, and there is a Buddhist kind of classifications, and they are not always exactly compatible. Emotion is also connected with feeling, is also something a bit different, because it is come from a different way of classification things. Usually in the West, we have the idea of thoughts, emotions, physical body. This is basically the concept. Well, in Buddhist concept, it's mostly like feeling, perception, mental formations. It's a bit kind of a different categories. But basically, when we speak about fear, for example, it has a certain feeling. What is that feeling? Is unpleasant feeling. Feeling is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. That are the three things. So whenever you say emotion, there will be one of them. If you say happiness, happiness is also pleasant feeling. If you say anger, it has unpleasant feeling. If you have doubt, usually has a negative feeling. If you have confidence, positive feeling. But it's not only feeling, it also has some usually thought, some story, and some general mental state. So in Dhamma, when we contemplate, for example, the Satipatthanas, he said, you contemplate mind that is affected by greed or unaffected by greed, mind affected by... This you can say is kind of emotion, general state of mind. So this is generally about emotions. And then what was the second part of what you asked? So you asked about how to work with whether they have a role. We have some emotions that do have a role. We call them the wholesome emotions. These are it's based mostly on the wholesome states of mind, yeah, on the wholesome roots, non-greed, not what we have right intention, yeah. So when we define negative or positive emotions, it's not just about being happy or being sad, but in the Buddhist path, it's about intention, cetana. Is the intention in the basis of it is metta, or is it greed, attachment? Is it renunciation, faith, or is it kind of attachment, being dependent? So this kind of makes the difference between a deluded emotion and an emotion that is on the path. When you practice metta, you practice wholesome emotion. When you practice Buddha recollection, you create joy, confidence, inspiration. This is wholesome emotion because takes you to renunciation, it takes you to metta, takes you to confidence in truth.
So I have a follow-up question. Like you talk about joy, metta, equanimity, compassion. These are wholesome emotions. So, these are positive, okay, highly positive emotions. So, like there are different spectrum of one emotion. Like if I am feeling happy, so sometime I express it, my feeling of happiness in different way. Like sometime I use joy word for happiness, sometime ecstatic, and there are different words for emotion for expressing my joy. So what is that?
It's a natural way, you know, it's no problem is that the Buddha also gave verses, Dhammapada, or we have the Theragata, Terigata. It's full of very open expression of the experience, but it's based on truth. So it's no need to block any kind of emotion or any kind of expression. It's not that just because we learn to be quiet, it means that you have to block or to shut it off. But we can differentiate again between the wholesome and unwholesome. If it's you write a poem about how you've fallen in love with somebody who looks like the moon or whatever, I don't know. It's probably a bit deluded. Sorry. But it is understandable, you know. It's also normal. You can have compassion for it. And
Buddha has used different words like rapture, tranquility, happiness, pleasure. So I just want to understand and why there is like a degree of the experiences, the volume and the degree of emotions are different, the intensity.
yes, the mind is so vast, is huge. It's like the ocean. There are many factors and many levels. There's a depth. Yeah. So when you practice, you spoke about the factors of awakening. Classically, you say when you develop mindfulness, investigation arises. When you have investigation, energy arises. When you have energy, rapture arises. But it's also works in other ways. By the way, there is also some painful experiences that are connected with the past. You know, it's called, for example, the grief of renunciation. When one has a strong desire to be liberated, one understands that we are stuck in this suffering for countless lifetimes, doing the same mistakes, being born, being attached, seeing, losing all our relatives, all our health, wealth, health, our loved ones die, we cry again and again, and eventually we die and have to reborn and go everything again. Like Sisyphus who climbed the mountain with a rock, just carrying it, and this creates a certain sorrow which is wholesome, because eventually one say, now I get out of it. Yeah. So this is actually awakened sadness, you can say. So the mind is very vast, and by practicing you discover more and more. One great master, Lungta Mahabua, said, most practitioners, even if they are sincere, realize maybe 5% of the mind. It's very deep.
Yeah, that's
So
also
there
modern
is
science.
a lot to discover, a lot of potential, but it needs a lot of work.
So that's just I'm understanding it. So the basic difference between emotion and feeling is like a feeling is more personal and emotion are more impersonal.
So again,
And,
feeling in the Buddha's classification is simply pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Emotion has a certain feeling in it. It has also a certain thought, certain story maybe, certain consciousness, whether visual, audible. So emotion is a kind of a broad thing that includes many factors. Feeling is kind of a very specific definition.
Individual.
Yeah. So when you say there are wholesome feelings, unwholesome, there is wholesome emotions, unwholesome. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone online who would like to still as a you can ask your friend to ask a question if you are shy, as we heard in the Parinibbana Sutta. No question. No question. Okay.
I have one question. That if someone got Sotapan Phal in past life and they born in human realms, so is it difficult to stay in worldly life if they going to next step anagami or that Sagdagami, Anagami? Stay in lay life.
We can see at the time of the Buddha, there were many Sotapannas who were householders, like Visakha Mata and Anathapindika, Buddha's father. So only in these stories, only after Anagami, they try to find more kind of, to go towards, live separate from the gender, like if one is male, then they try to be more kind of separate from the female. Otherwise, Sotapanna and Sagadagami, they're still okay on household life.
And why is it this after Anagami?
Anagami, the raga is more or less down. So in Sagadagami, there's still raga, dosa, moha, they're still there, but it's not completely gone. And Anagami also, the lust is more or less gone, but they're still there.
So they can stay in lay life, Anagami.
Yes, they can. I think there are, right? Anagami, yeah. Rare, really.
Nakul Mata was married to Nakul Pita, and she was an Anagami. I think he was a experimenter. I'm not sure. So she was an Anagami, quite exceptional. There is suttas describing 7 wonderful, marvelous qualities of her. And there were others actually. There was sometime a village that people were died, and the Buddha declared many of them to be Anagamis. It's good to know that nowadays it's more rare. But it is possible to be Anagami as a layperson, and there were many at the time of the Buddha. Yeah. It is said that Arahants cannot be a layperson. So oftentimes, if Anagami kind of wants to continue to make progress, he should ordain. But at the time of the Buddha, there were many anagamis. They stayed and they passed away as anagamis, meaning they will be reborn in some very high realm, the pure abodes, and then from there they will realize the Nibbana.
So for nowadays, Theravada tradition believe that there is no bhikkhuni satsang present. So if any female like it happen like this, so
Still, a samaneri can also be
okay.
arahant. So you don't have to be a fully ordained bhikshuni or fully ordained bhikshu. Samanera, at the time of the Buddha, there were 7 years old samaneras. So they had to wait 13 years to become bhikkhus. But they were already more enlightened than all the Sangha. Some samaneras, 7 years old, just on the first day of becoming samanera, were already wiser than the eldest bhikkhu. So it's enough.
Thank you.
We have the Siladhara order in our tradition, which is actually a very good constitution because the nuns are very well respected. They have opportunities to teach, and of course, wonderful opportunities to practice. And there are great teachers from that community. We have many books here written by those nuns.
Thank you. No question.
Okay, we will conclude the session. Closing homage cup.
Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantang Abhivadeni Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami.
आइए सभी मिलकर बनते इसको प्रणाम करें। प्रणाम। प्रथम प्रणाम, द्वितीयम्पि, तृतीयम्पि।
Okay, sadhu to all lay upasak upasikas three din ka retreat के लिए. So I think this concludes this evening Mara session and this retreat.
थैंक यू बनते, आप सभी का बहुत एनलाइटनिंग सेशन थे, स्पेशली जो Q&A सेशंस थे दोपहर में जो हुए और शाम को भी, they were very enlightening and it's such a good it's an opportunity for us online audience also to learn from you. So I'm really thankful to you on behalf of everyone in the group. Thank you very much. I thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu.